Now we're live.
Now we're live?
Now we're live.
Okay, we'll call the order the city council meeting for Monday, March 8th, 2021 at 7 p.m. We'll pledge of allegiance followed by roll call. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With the consent of the council, I'd like to make changes. Oh, roll call, excuse me.
Councilor Richter,
Here.
Councilor McMillan,
Here.
Councilor Denton,
Here.
Councilor Hawkins,
Here.
Councilor Farmer,
Here.
Councilor Cox,
Here.
Mayor Flynn.
Here.
Everybody's present.
Okay. And we have Tara and John on the
Yes.
Yep.
remote. Okay, with the consent of the council, I'd like to change our agenda in doing the following. The public comment on agenda removed. All the rest of the order the way it is. And then on section 9, where it says public comment, have it be audience members may bring any concern to the city before the council at this time. And along with that would be the that remainder of that paragraph. So what we'd be doing is removing the public comment on the agenda from the second item going forward.
And then, Mayor, what did you say about 9? What should it read?
9, it'll read, audience members may bring any concern to the city before the council at this time.
Okay.
And the reason for the words to the city is so we aren't talking about state bills or Senate bills or merging with Idaho, or in other words, we're here to conduct the business of the city, so it should pertain to the city
Okay.
efforts. And that would be with 3 minutes per individuals allowed by the council.
Is this tonight only or from now on?
I'd like to follow that agenda.
Okay.
And that's to move forward with the following the union.
Right, we'll move everything forward, but then like old business of city of union goals, what we'll do is we'll open it up for the people that want to say something about union goals. And then,
So we can follow the city ordinance.
right,
Okay.
so what do
we need to?
According to our ordinances, it just needs the consent of the council. Well, a motion to consent.
So a motion. Well, I'll make a motion that we do the alterations in the order of the council meeting as the mayor has spoken.
Can I question one more thing? Just to confirm.
right?
You have to second.
Normally you second,
Discuss.
and then we have discussion.
Okay. I'll second it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My mic was off. I seconded it already. But go ahead.
Is there any discussion?
Okay, so if there's a topic that comes up and someone in the audience wants to,
Right now, in this, for an example, under this, we have all business city of union goals. So they can make a comment, citizens can make a comment there. Under new business, letter to council asking for abatement to the planning fees. Somebody can make a comment there. And somebody can make a comment, pro or con, on water sewer rates.
okay,
And the rest of the information.
okay. So that'll, at every meeting.
Right.
Can I ask why the change? Just because it flows
To
better?
go along with the current written ordinance,
Something.
kind of we just work at the work
Right.
session.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Call for a vote on this, or
What's that?
do we call for a vote?
Well,
Very good.
Counselor, did we had a motion was moved and seconded. I was waiting till the discussion was over to call for the vote.
I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of a broke up service. I didn't mean to butt in.
Okay, any further discussion? Anything from the public? Okay, call for vote.
Council Richter,
Oh, sorry that I was on mute. Yes.
Council McMillan,
Yes.
Council Denton.
Yeah.
Council Hawkins.
Yeah.
Council Farmer,
Yes,
Council Fox.
Yes.
Motion passes with six.
Correspondence, we've had a couple of letters on correspondence, and then another one that I didn't receive this afternoon. And we'll that the one, the real late one, I'll put it on the agenda because it was asking the city to do something. And I need to study it a little bit before we get the information out to you folks in preparation for the next meeting. We'll probably put it on the workshop also, just so we can discuss it. Old business city union goals for 2021. Is there any public comment on goal, pro or con? Want to come up to the lectern and name and address?
My name is Willard Bertrand, 1493 North College Street, Union. Thank you for allowing the questions and brief comments during the meeting. That's much appreciated. The goals session, which I attended a portion of, I'd like to expand that goal to include something that would identify the importance of allowing residents, especially elderly and people who have gardens, to have green yards. Your goal, and also something for another goal that's aimed at improving the support for domestic violence in the city. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I simply have a question. I don't know where I fit.
What's that,
I
ma'am?
don't know where I fit with my concern. I was the one who presented the information on the Rockaway pathway to the union.
That would be under the public comment, under section 9 when you get there.
Okay.
That's where you'll present.
It's not old business.
Sure. Yep, that's
Oh,
where
that's
you,
old business.
yeah, you can talk of that under the public comment under section 9.
Okay, let me know when we get
Yep,
there.
we will.
Well, we had a workshop on this and asked everybody to put in and what I was going to do is make assignments to the different goals that the council agreed upon.
First, we need to adopt the goals.
What's
We need
that?
to adopt the goals first.
I can't hear you.
We need to adopt the goals first.
Okay,
I make a motion that we adopt the goals that we've set in the previous work session.
do I have a second?
I second that.
So it's been moved, seconded. Is there any discussion,
Public comment.
public comment? Call for vote.
Councilor Richter,
Yes.
Councilor McMillan,
Yes.
Councilor Denton,
Yes.
Councilor Hawkins.
Yeah.
Councilor Farmer,
Yes,
Councilor
Yes.
Motion passes.
So now I'll make this out. Ordinance review, to include review of all of our ordinances, and the ones we had come up previously as kind of bullet points were the weeds and abandoned businesses, and declarations of states of emergency, and water and sewer rate restructure. Tim, Heidi, and myself. Since I took the liberty of putting myself on a couple of committees. Ranger Station. Following through on it is John and Tim. Economic development. I want to kind of join City Park with economic development because it really ties in together on the appearance of our city and the use of the facilities. So with that in mind, it's a good sized one, and kind of chose to put 3 people on that: Tara, Leslie, and John Farmer, with Riley. Can't write right. Riley, liaison to the city park on that working group. Charter. Don't throw anything at me, Susan, that you've been so much a part of that, Susan and myself. Emergency services, fire, EMS, Tim and Susan. And I'd like to request everybody to kind of flesh out, these are pretty broad, maybe write up a little mission statement and maybe a little short checklist on those things that you decided to work on in what order, so that we could all discuss it at the next council meeting. Okay. Is there anything else that anyone wants to comment? I'm not going to get beat up after the meeting.
No, I'm happy.
No, I'm satisfied. If there's a need for me to be on anything else, I certainly would apply as much time as possible to help on anything else that we feel we're short on.
Well, thank you, John. I'm sure something will come up down the line.
Okay.
I just want to say with what Mr. Bertrand brought up, that may be something that we can have the ordinance team review. They're talking about the green yard and domestic violence as far as reviewing what we would like to do there. And I may want to add that in for their review as well in the ordinance.
I was thinking even into the economic development piece for the district department. Might be a good place to put that all.
And this funding,
Yeah.
some grant money or something.
Okay, then we move on to new business. The letter received asking for abatement to the planning fees from 5 through 7.
We introduce it first and then ask for public comment, right?
Can you say,
We asked for public comment
Not yet.
before we just.
just getting there? Is there any public comment on this letter that's part of the packet? I don't hear anything, so you gotta go to Doug to explain it to us.
So as most of you know, the historic Unity Hall, and I think they've actually kind of rebranded themselves, but for the purpose of this is what I had. And I think they're rebranding to something about Catherine Creek Convention Center or Community Center or something like that. The historic community hall, the group was able to purchase the Methodist Church. And part of what that comes with is they need to apply for a conditional use permit to continue using the church as a nonprofit entity because it's within a residential area. So they just got to apply to get that status because the church already had it, but when it changes ownership, you have to change the conditional use permit for the new owners. And also to allow the rental of the house because it's part of a public facilities is the way that it's set up on the zoning. And so to do that, in our zoning laws, it says they must have a conditional use permit to do so as a nonprofit. So that's what they're going to be planning to do. And in that, they were hoping because they're a nonprofit, we would waive the $300 fee to make that application to planning. So right now, the application is moving forward. Planning is actually going to hear it, I believe, on the 17th. On the 17th. And they haven't paid the fee yet, and they're waiting to see if you guys were going to pay. So.
I have one question for Tara, and I think she can answer it. What is the specification? I know you're not a 501c3. What is your specification of non?
We are part of the Oregon Cultural Trust, and that's where our nonprofit status lies. We're a 501c3. I don't know.
I thought it was a different category when you gave their donation. But it was a different type of 501. It wasn't a 501c3. 509. I thought it was something different. It wasn't a 501c3. I was just wondering what that status was.
What our status as a nonprofit is?
Yeah, because according to when CUP gave the donation to match your funding for your auction, I was told you were not a 501c3.
We are a 501c3. I'm looking at my. We can use our nonprofit entity or our tax deductible. I can't pull that information up right now. I'm looking.
That's okay. I was just wondering. I knew it was something different than a 501c3. I wasn't remembering.
Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me, but we are part of the Oregon Cultural Trust, and we do have the tax deductible information. So it is any contributions can be tax deductible, but I don't have that sheet in front of me that says what exactly the information is.
So may I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, John, you had a question?
Yes, sir. So this is the church that they've been working on. What are they? I'm assuming this is a building permit that they're going to do some remodeling renovation. Is that correct?
Oh, this is just to change their, or not to change the zoning, but to allow them to operate as a nonprofit entity in a public facility zone, which according to our planning regulations, they can have a conditional use permit to do so, and also to allow them to rent the home because it's not going to be occupied by the priest or of the church. So it's going to be used as a normal rental in a public facility zone. So they need a conditional use permit to do both those items within the public facility zone.
Okay, so basically, this is just for them to go ahead and operate as a nonprofit. So this $350 fee that we would be waiving is just for them to go appear in front of our own building or planning commission at the city level or county level?
City.
City level. So, okay, so I just wanted to get a grasp, and like I say, I'm not seeing a problem with what they're wanting to do. It's their whole project is for the good of the community, so I don't see where that seems to be a problem. So, thank you.
Do I hear a motion?
I'd like to move that we go ahead and waive the $350 fee and allowing HUCH to move forward in their conditional permit applications through the Planning Commission.
Second that.
Seconded by Fox.
Any further discussion?
I have a question. Though I haven't been involved with this project, I'm still with the economic. Do I have to refrain from voting?
To affect your pocket personally,
No.
so no.
Okay.
Does it matter if you like have donated stuff to those people or? I'm sorry, this is the first time I've ever been to the city council meeting, so I apologize, but I've donated stuff to that place. And I support the place. I support our town, so.
That's a question you'd have to ask them. I can't answer it.
So to clarify, then the Friends of the Historic Union Community Hall is the nonprofit. And we've been running under Historic Union Community Hall, which we will be rebranding, not the nonprofit, but the business or the community center. We want to go under Captain Creek Community Center. And then we will be renting the house, but that is an entirely different entity all in itself, not anywhere connected with the Economic Development Committee or Main Street, other than we have a lot of the same people working on all these community programs. So that's why there's a lot of gray area, because it seems like it's the same people. Does that help answer any questions?
I can't imagine why there would be a conflict of interest if somebody's moving forward to support a project like this on the council. I wouldn't understand where the conflict would be.
Yeah,
No comment. There are just some other questions, but I guess I need to wait till, I guess we got for done with.
yeah, then you can get a hold of one of the committee members.
No, not necessarily on this topic, but it could come to this topic. Absolutely. But I'll wait till you are open for comment.
But as far as Leslie, your comment, you can declare that you work on it, but that is not an actual conflict. It might be a perceived conflict.
Okay.
And it's good for you to state that it may be a perceived conflict that you're working with that committee.
No. No, there's absolutely zero conflict.
No,
I apologize.
but as far as your vote, as a council person, it would be if it benefited you personally and you earned money from it, then you would not be able to vote as a council member.
In other words, if we're acting as a consultant for whatever, and they gave you $50,
Right.
then you're putting something in your pocket from that organization, and that can be interpreted as a conflict.
Okay.
You
I
can
just wanted to
donate
make it clear. I
time.
didn't work on it, but.
Right.
Okay.
For example, I've donated money
Yeah.
to it.
Mhm.
That has stopped me from anything.
Gotcha.
Can I vote on this since I'm the president of the board?
Call for vote.
Sarah said, oh, yeah.
Councilor Richter,
Yes, if I can vote.
Yes.
Councilor Denton,
Yes.
Councilor Hawkins.
Yes.
Councilor Quanah,
Yes.
Councilor Fox,
Yes.
Mayor, motion passes with 6.
5.2 water sewer rate adjustment for ordinance 508. Is there any public comment?
Willard Bertrand, 1493 North College. Thanks again for allowing this. Dick and I were on the council along with other folks that put in the water and sewer, at least the water system, the meters. And one of the, back in those days, $13 or was all it was. And then on odd days, this side of the city water, and on even days, that side water. We had no meters. Put in meters, and then people started to create rates, which is what you're kind of looking at here. So I just want to put that in perspective. One of the things about when we put in the meters is that people were opposed to it or for it, as always. And some of the people that were opposed to it because they didn't want to have the city use meters as a means of creating income for the city. In any event, you guys are familiar with that. I just want you to know. But section 6, or specifically section 6, yearly adjustments, 2, 3, and 4 are what I wanted to bring your attention to when you discuss this, if you do discuss it. One thing is that the good idea would be to do this in January, because then that would give you time to do public comment and motions and ordinance changes and whatever else you need to do, which now you don't have time to do because the rate goes into effect April 1st if you don't do anything, which is where you're at. You do have by section 4 of the time, any time, to decrease the water rates. So I am advocating that you look at your water reserves, which are in excess of anything historically the city has required, and consider the possibility that you long ago paid off the bond that we, Dick and I's council, put in to pay for this water system, and that you're basically saving money for some other purpose, not the initial purpose of that reserve, which was to cover the annual payment for the water. So I suggest that you look at increasing the ability of the local public to green their yards and give them some sort of motivation, instead of making them feel like, gee, I can't water my garden because I don't know how bad my water rate's going to be this summer. Instead, they should feel like they're safe to water their yard and their gardens without fear of getting a huge bill. And secondly, that would be the kind of decrease that I would be looking at, but you'll have to rewrite this to do that. So just want to make a comment on that, and good luck on your procedures to get that done.
Mr. Mayor? Oh, never mind.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to go back a little farther. Willie said waters were
Who
13.
is this speaking?
Can you say your date? We got people that do.
I did. Walked down there
Yeah,
to
you
10th Street.
said it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pick up, John.
Didn't hear you. I'm getting old.
Willie went back to $13 water rates. I gotta go back a little farther, because when I got on the council and the planning commission back then, it was $6. Just to let you guys know, and we had a better water than we do now. But I'd like to make a comment on this increase every year, 2.5 for each one, water and sewer, make that clear. I think because you people are working on changing the water rates and making people pay for what they use, which is a good idea in one respect. I don't think that at this time you should change the water rates by 2.5 or the sewer by 2.5 until you get this new setup all figured out and done. And then if you're gonna leave that clause in there in the new ordinance or whatever, fine. But I don't think you should increase it at this time.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the annual 2.5 increase for sewer and 2.5 for water, and that the will be revisited in 2022 after we've had some time, as Mr. Middleton said, to look at the study that we're considering doing. So
Do I hear a second to that motion?
I second it.
Okay, discussion?
If I may, I believe that the previous two gentlemen made good points in the sense that we are one visiting revamping the whole system, and two that we have got that loan taken care of. However, the public does need to know that we are putting away money so that we can fix this system without having to take out another big fat loan. So, but I believe that with the crisis this year and the way things are, I don't believe that it would be out of hand to go ahead and suspend those increases both for sewer and water. And that, I mean, I know we have to have money to run, but again, I think we're going to make a change. So there's no sense in doing this right now. Thank you.
I'd like to hear
Would
from
you, Doug, would you like to
So
address this?
a couple issues. One, I don't think that we can suspend the water rates due to our charter, which says we have to put out a 30-day notice prior to making any water or sewer adjustments. This water or sewer adjustment is automatic by ordinance, and unless we continue to amend that ordinance, we need to put out a 30-day notice to invite meeting and have people pass that resolution to do so. So I believe we would err by law of the charter if we suspended the amount at this point in time without putting out a 30-day notice to have people come speak. Secondly, we just paid off the loan that was taken out on the water last year. Hasn't been paid off for many years. It just was paid off last year, paid the last $5,600 last year. So it is correct, it is paid off, but just got paid off. As far as, I'll let you know on the water side, we don't have a lot of money sitting on the water side. It's on the sewer side, and that's why we did the rate study and saw the adjustments that we need to work on our rates on the water side. But on the sewer side, we need to work the opposite way. But that's what the committee needs to meet on, and I think we'll be bringing forward ordinance or such to do so. So I think with where we're at, because we are late in the game of getting here, as was discussed, I think we have nothing to do but to let the 2.5% adjustment go on either side, knowing that at any time we can come back and just decrease or increase or change the water rates. And I think that would be an appropriate time when we do that after we have reviewed with the committee. I think the plan on that was to try to have something done by August, I think is what we were working towards. But we got to get the committee to sit down and work towards that. So that in mind, on April 1st, rates would go up 2.5% on each. And we'll probably hold that way until we came forward with new resolution or, new ordinance or resolution at that time with proper notification before we make any other adjustments on that.
Yeah, I totally agree, because it needed to be dealt with in January if we were going to have enough time. And it is something we will be adjusting with whatever we do.
Our plans are, yes. Based on the water sewer study and the things that were never completed on the water side.
Why didn't we do this in January?
I was working on it. I didn't, it was slipped through the cracks on me. I didn't get it out in time.
So if we choose not to raise it, we can't, you're saying?
Well, you guys can choose to, but you may be in violation.
Might be in violation.
I can't, I mean, you guys can do as you wish, but I'm just giving you the advice that there is a possibility you might be seen as violating the charter by not allowing the 30-day notice because you are amending a water or sewer rate. Automatically.
Well, didn't we suspend it a couple of years ago? or did we do it early enough that we were able to notify them before we did it?
No, we, a year ago when we raised I think we raised the water, but not the sewer again. As we learned with the charter, we got to give that 30-day notice. So a year ago or so, when we did this, we did it along as that way as well.
So we would be in violation to decrease it. I would think we'd only be in violation if we increased it.
Not according to this
We're in
ordinance.
violation if we change it.
We're in violation if we change the water.
So I guess I'm not understanding because I thought it said right here by mandate of ordinance 508, council must review the increase between January and March. The council can raise the rates more than 2.5% during a time of emergency, or they can lower the rate of increase at any time.
That's correct. But you still have to give your 30-day notice to the citizens when you are adjusting. You got two things working on each other here. You have the ordinance and the charter.
So if we go ahead and if we did pass this tonight, it's not, we can't give 30-day notice before the automatic kick in comes in. Is that where the violation occurs?
No, the violation occurs because we didn't give 30-day notice to invite people here to talk about either.
So public opinion wasn't able to come and say, hey, we want it increased or decreased. Is that would be the violation then?
So if you are in violation, what is the violation? Is it?
You can't choose. We've been doing a lot of work on ordinances due to some issues that have been raised. You can't pick and choose which ordinance you're going to follow and which one you're not.
No, I'm and we're not asking that. I'm wanting to know. He's saying we might be. I mean, I think it's important. We need to know whether we are or not.
Well, I mean, I'm telling you by the way that the charter reads, I believe we would be violating by not giving the 30-day notice. So if somebody chose to pick that up and run with it, they could take it to civil court, prove damages, and then, you know, you end up paying lawyer fees and then refunding money and taking things back. So it is, you gotta, that's what could happen by violation. Or it could turn into an ethical thing, possibly.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted to know. I made the motion under the pretense of what I was reading on the memorandum. So I guess that's my bad. So I guess I will rescind the motion.
No, we just vote.
We can just vote, we can already vote on the motion and we could just vote, well.
Okay,
So,
One other thing I say is I have a difficulty in we've talked about big recommendation, you know, like time frame August, September. And by changing this to 2022, you know, in your motion, it stretches it out for another year. And that has some ramifications on another loan that we found that could impact our water system and save the citizens over $1 million.
okay. I'm assuming that is just a refinancing deal, or?
No. Not a
We have
refinance.
nothing for you.
sure. So if you guys, just on like rules of order here, if you want to not vote on it, the second has to be removed, or you can vote on the motion.
So I can remove mine?
You could remove and then.
We're the one that seconded it.
Okay, I remove
Okay,
my
so
motion.
the second's been removed. So John, do you wish to remove your motion then?
Yes, I wish to rescind the motion.
So the other action on this would be to take no action, and it would just, which is pretty much what we have to do, which is the 2.5%. Moves through.
In the future, are there other things that we need to be doing on an annual basis that we can get a calendar?
Yeah,
Set
we
up.
just need to put a tickler on our January meeting to do this, and that's what.
So we can review it.
We've added it out, we've already come through and we've added that, put the tickler on in January.
Okay. Are there any other things that we know of that we need to be added to like that?
I have one for when we do our budget resolution, that in May, we'll be putting out notice for our June meeting that will be adopted. Soliciting comment at that time.
That's part of what tickled the notice out to everybody on the budget committee, you know, for the April meeting.
Yeah.
And the budget committee has a public hearing in itself, but also there's a public hearing on the council side of it. And because that's a budgetary thing, we have to put out a 30-day notice on that as well. So we'll be doing that in May or in advance of our June council meeting where we'll be hopefully adopting a budget.
Yeah, I just have, at work, we have the now annual calendar of items that we have to address, and
Yeah.
I just
Those are
wonder
the
if we
two
have
main
that.
ones is gonna be the water rate, well, under the current ordinance. Now, maybe under the new ordinance, if they bring one forward that we review, it may not have that automatic setting. So that'll be something that whoever does on that committee and makes those recommendations will move forward.
With the water rate, do we have that noted for a meeting to look at decreasing it, or it's just after the study, whenever that's completed in August sometime we'll revisit this?
The study's completed, and so now it's just getting the committee together to go through the study and make the recommendation for council on, you know, what direction we want to go, and then developing an ordinance with the city attorney to develop that ordinance. And maybe, and putting that together, which at that time, then we'll put out a notice and get comment, and then you can pass an ordinance and then start from that point forward. So,
For the new council, I don't know, Tim, did you get a copy of the water rate study you had done? They may need a copy of that.
I'll put, I know Heidi doesn't have it, but
Yeah, I know how you do
Jim has
it.
it.
I believe I got it when
You have it? Okay, I couldn't
it's
remember.
Heidi's new since we
Yeah.
had that done, so I'll get her a copy of it.
Thank you.
It's both a water and sewer, and we always referred to water rate, but it did both sides, water and sewer.
So my recommendation is we take no action on ordinance 508.
Do we need to make a motion on that?
And you just take no action.
Just take no action.
Okay,
Consent agenda. Business special meeting minutes for February 8th, 2021. City Council February 8th, 2021 minutes. Work session minutes for February 8th and the February 22nd. And then is anybody see any problems, or can we have consent on those items?
I have one, and I'm not sure on it, but on February 8th at the meeting, when we were voting the new council person, I believe Farmer, it wasn't unanimous at first, and I don't know if that has to be in the notes.
Where about?
5A on February 8th. From the new business.
What
What-
page?
What are you trying to say?
Well, it said, it passed unanimously, and I don't think all 6 of us. I recall Farmer not
He made the motions.
did.
Yeah,
That he did vote differently.
He did.
And he did make the motion. Yes.
Oh, Okay, so he made the motion now.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Information reports, library, February monthly report, EMS fire monthly report, ordinance officer report, office manager report for February 2021, the animal control, the sheriff's monthly, and the Union Main Street. Any questions and or comments on any of those reports? We have a placeholder here for the city council working
Well,
committee.
the consent agenda, we need to take a vote on
We need to take a vote on that?
Yep.
Okay.
that. So I need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I move that we accept the consent agenda for all items listed.
I second that.
Any discussion? Call for vote?
Counselor Richter,
Yes.
Millen,
Yes.
Nathan,
Yes.
Austin. Farmer,
Yes.
Yes.
motion passes with six.
City council working committee updates, that's what we'll slot in our working committees that we have going on and report from each one of those next. President. And if you can, please get something in writing to Doug a week before our council meeting so that we can get it in our information so that we can study it and develop questions prior to the meeting would be very helpful. City Administrator Public Works Report. Any questions for Doug? Wastewater Monthly Report. I took a tour with, just for information, took a tour with Doug at our wastewater treatment facility, and it's really looking well. A lot of parts that were new that have been purchased have been installed. Anyway, water monthly report, any questions?
I think our biggest thing in the water report is we had a broken line, and I think the Gale and electric. Right in the middle of that big blizzard, so they had to get out there in the mud and the ice and the snow, and they got that patch. It was a 2-inch line that had a coupling had cracked and broke.
Oh, one of it wasn't in any reports, but when I was with Doug and we take our tour around the wastewater treatment plant in City Park, is somebody decided to set a fire next to one of the trees right on the edge of the city park, and basically damaged the tree enough that it had to be removed.
Then I took out neighbor's fence and across the park there a little bit.
So if anybody happens to see any suspicious activity down there, please report it. I guess is what I'm kind of needing to do. Without any public comment on any items that affect the city, Willard?
So I'd like to thank the city for paying close attention to the charter and ordinances. And going forward, I'm sure that you'll find that that'll work great for everybody. So I appreciate that. And by the way, I'm sure if you're interested the citizens, myself, included, would surely be more than happy to join into your committee with that. So anyways, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very
I was here a while back, well, I'm here in 465 East Bidwell Street, which puts me smack dab in a microwave house. And you have the map about that. I've been talking to Doug about it, and he hasn't found his way through it. So I found somebody to do some more, draw some more lines for me. I went to the search and rescue and the sheriff's office, which is the thing you use to get out to it on a computer. And I have, all I have is just about 3 more lines here from Mount Emily to Mount Harris, and it probably, or 2 from Mount Emily. There may be 1 from Mount Emily to the, not only to the water tower towers, but to the structural ground tower. And I'm pretty sure it's there because they're running to 1 upstream, the corner of Crawford and 203. And I think that's probably from Mount Emily, but I didn't get any line for that one. So it's not extended, and I don't know if it really is where if that's where it comes from. So what I have is just a little more information. He sent me this thing, which has a couple more lines going to the city. And for what that's worth, tells me where they are. And I'm assuming that you have questions in it, and probably the place for me to go is to a work session or something, so you can ask to your heart's content. I don't know what you want to do. Did you get this map to, do we have a copy? Yeah, as long as you get a copy, this is the only one I have. Oh, I didn't know that.
You bring it to me tomorrow, I'll take a copy of it.
Okay, just to the front.
Mhm.
All right, and then like I said, there's 1 more that probably should come in from that Emily to the suction and stuff. Just as a, to be complete for what I think is going on. That's that all you want. If you have questions,
I don't have any.
we'll start.
Anything else?
All right, I'll screen that one. Thank you.
Next. Come on down.
Thank you very much, you guys. I appreciate it. I was just gonna sit and listen. I appreciate it. Daniel Basler, 926 North Gale. So I appreciate you guys' time. I was just gonna sit back and listen. I have friends that are on city council in Portland. You guys talk about ordinances and stuff. One thing that I'm frustrated about is, and maybe you guys can answer the question, is why it's so hard to get the city business license in this town.
You know,
And-
actually,
I get it, but it could also draw revenue and you charge for conditional use permits, but you can't get a city business license. You can go to the state, and I have business licenses over in Portland, Hillsborough, Arizona, and I could change my address and send all my money to Hillsborough, Oregon, and give them all the money and just change the address and it'll be in Union. But it's the historical place, and I apologize. It's my first time here, so I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm trying and I'm going to do my best and I'm going to keep coming and educate myself. But I just don't understand why you guys don't do that.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
What is it if we don't, if we don't have a city business license, is there something you need it for? If we don't already have that kind of a format, is it something for your taxes or purposes?
You can get, a state business license with your EIN number and all that stuff. You can do that. But a city business license, I personally think, $28, $30. I've spoken to several business owners, big business owners in this town
I'm sure you guys can figure out who they are, they would be more willing to pay that $28-30 fee a year. And it might cost, smaller people money, but, revenue into a historical town. And there's other issues that I'd like to bring up, but I don't want to do that now until I start taking notes. But I think it would help the community if you guys could do that. It's literally a piece of paper printed that says, Union County City Business Line. And you post it. And I think it would draw, money into the town. And I apologize for anybody that owns a business, but I would pay the fee. And I know there's several other big guys that would pay the fee here in the town. And it would help draw revenue. You guys do work and stuff, I understand that, but I'm gonna keep coming to these meetings and start listening and appreciate it. Yeah, and I think it's something you guys should consider. I really honestly do. I spoke to people about it and people be willing to pay the fee. There's a small fee, but it would draw revenue to this town, which I believe we need, a little support. And I think it helps. So I just want to appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
What other benefit would it, what other benefit would it be? You said revenue, but I mean.
Well, we charged everybody that has, a business, whether it be, understand, and I apologize for my grandfather was a huge rancher over here, but ranchers that have businesses over here, you get revenue from them. I'm sure, I can start with some homework, but if you started getting money from every business that was around here that is registered through the state and you require them to have a city license, that would be a lot of money.
Is it a benefit to a business to have it?
No, it's absolutely not.
Okay.
It's the benefit for the community.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely not a benefit for the business.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's a tax write-off for the business. But all it does is it draws revenue for us here.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing it up.
You're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. I just think it's something I should consider. That's all. That's all. And I'm gonna keep coming. I'm just let me educate myself here. This is the first time I've done this, so I apologize if I'm.
No, you're fine.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wait, what's his name?
Daniel Baisler.
Daniel Blazer. Will you leave your email address and we'll invite you to the next Economic Development Committee for Main Street?
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's so hard with the masks. So I apologize. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'll give you a business card. Yeah, for sure. I just think it would be super beneficial for us. We're a historical town, and there's other issues that I'd like to bring up later on down the road, but if we can help clean it up and do stuff and make this place great, but you don't want people coming from out of state, people who go to Joseph to do stuff. That's a historical place too. You come to the Union, you don't want people being like, oh my gosh, don't move to that place. It's trash. Right. We don't want that here. We don't want that. You guys know that.
It's a topic that came up when I was going around talking with businesses in the city.
Yeah.
Over the COVID restrictions.
Right.
So it is something that for the economic development committee to look at.
I think it would be beneficial. I honestly do. $30. Some people have a lot of money, but I think it's beneficial. I do. Sure. Yeah. Thank you. You bet.
Middleton Street. I hadn't planned on talking, but since you brought the subject up. This is been brought up years ago, and I can't remember when Willie was mayor or when it was. But at the time, I believe we had something like 70 businesses in town. That's loggers, that's independent. And everybody was kind of against it. And I know we're bringing the revenue, but if you take $30 times 70, what do you
Talking
got?
about $1,400.
I mean, I wouldn't try to close it right now because you said the same thing, the business are having a hard time, maybe in the future, but I just want to get it out there and on record that, yes, it was discussed years ago and it was shot down.
Thank you. This time I'd like to invite you to,
When I first moved here, I was given a little packet at the city hall of all the businesses and this stuff. It's very helpful. I really appreciate that. And now I offered to help update it because everything was in there. So I'm going to have to talk about people, and I'll have to say, a lot of them were very leery of going on record because they didn't want to be, and that was some of their concern. They didn't want to be nailed by the city for some kind of permit or something. I don't know what it was. So it's just something that I just thought not.
thank you. Doug, if you want something on the agenda, we get it slotted in. The council members, again, please, a week ahead of the council meeting. If you have something in mind that we can get in now.
Yeah, I do have, I had spoken beforehand, I just was thinking today, as we're looking at changing of water rates and talking about the city's goal for conservation of water and thinking of the cost that if we go to, if we were to decide a rate on how much water we use, that those changes could cause certain businesses to have a raise in their cost. And I was thinking about our revolving loan fund, which is for a different purpose. I came and looked at it, and it is for the purpose of having the storefronts look historic and follow through with that. And so it's a revolving loan that people can apply for in order to update the outside of their building. And it's specifically for that purpose. I was thinking about looking at some type of a revolving loan fund that could assist businesses who want to minimize the amount of water they're using, maybe by changing their toilets to a more efficient type of toilet. For the people that came and talked to us about the laundromat, that it would help them in order to update their machines so that they could charge what they needed to charge. It would also maybe give them a way to lower the amount of water they're using within their facility. So I was just thinking that it might be nice to take a look at a revolving loan that would maybe assist people with conservation of water within their businesses. So just that was a topic I maybe looked at.
That light is shining.
803.
But
803.
so we'll adjourn the council meeting. 8:03. Thank you. That's something
Next meeting,
could possibly take a look at.
next meeting is the 22nd.